that to him as well. And remember, you remember your shields. So go on, yeah, go on, speak, man. Do say your piece. But it balances out though, because I only have one beam, and I've got overload, and there's overload and fire at will on that. So sooner or later that powers up and it just starts going absolutely crackers. It just starts shooting in every direction. It's quite a handy little trait to have. Because the one thing about it is, and this is one thing I started doing, I used to be like a purist. I used to stick to cannon builds, beam builds, torpedo builds. Now I never actually did a torpedo build, but I did do a beam and cannon builds on my Federation character, and I found them a bit boring. And the reason why I found them a bit boring is because sooner or later, if you're using a beam build, don't get me wrong, I appreciate beams in collection can be very dangerous, but they're not as powerful as cannons. Cannons are very powerful and they can like put the hurting on you, but they lack, unless the target's sitting right in front of you, they're a little bit hard to use. So that's when in my head I just thought, why not just do a combination of all three? Because obviously in a battle, like when you're flying around, especially when I'm using this tactical escort, all three have their moment, if you like. You know what I mean? Like I can pummel someone with torpedoes, I can catch someone who's behind me with a beam, and when I'm sitting in front of them, I can literally blow them to hell. You know what I mean? It is like, and it's something I've adopted for my Federation character as well. I've changed them all up because of the discovery lot boxes as well, like where I've unlocked and spent a bit of dough and got the keys, and I've unlocked a bit of money and unlocked a few boxes and just sent them up there. Like literally, like I've got emitter based disruptors for my Klingon character. Where are they? Because they're linked. There you go. Look, they're on my other ship right now. Sensor linked disruptors. I wanted to get another sensor linked cannons for the Klingons, but I'll have to wait until I get more dough and maybe I'll upgrade them. But I'm glad I've got a nice little selection of cannons on my Klingon character. But yeah, and remember your shields and your impulse, your warp cores, they can all have little effects on your weapons. Or like for example, my there you go, my Obsnix Subspace Rift warp core on this, it's an epic. It gives me additional auxiliary power bonus at lower power, but it gives you adds, there you go, adds 7.5% of your auxiliary power to your shield as a bonus. So it makes it that little bit stronger. You know what I mean? It was all these little perks and quirks you can do. You know what I mean? And as I said, you don't have to have it in a set. You can make your own fucking set. You can make the Colton set, where you have, I don't know, no, I'm being serious. Where you can have, I don't know, say like the Federation quantum drive or whatever, and it's on a Klingon ship. Don't get me wrong, there's certain things you won't be able to use, but there are a combination of things that are available. Because I must admit, I do like these Dominion cannons. These Dominion cannons are awesome. The Jem'Hadar and the Klingons think alike. These things pulverize, I'm not gonna lie. And they have a great opportunity they can expose targets. They're 50% armor penetration, 2% chance when firing weapons. It will gain an Omega weapon amplifier, so it's got a proxy damage as well. It's quite a serious little weapon. You know what I mean? Like these, it's good to mix and match. It's good to mix and match because there you go. In essence, I've got Terran, Dominion, Nanite, which I think is Disruptor heavy cannons, which I think is actually Romulan, Federation quantum torpedoes, and House of Martok transphasic torpedoes. So I've got a combination of that. Literally, I've got a bit of everything up front, but because they're all so similar in terms of they're either cannons or they're disruptor based, I can get that little bit extra oomph. You know what I mean? I even got a little Borg cutting beam on the back. That does on its own, just this Borg cutting beam on its own, and it's got 360-degree arc, does 1,118.6 DPS. Just on its own. And if you're within 10 kilometers, okay, you're not going to be able to run for it because it's 360. So if I'm near you in any way, shape or form, I can hit you with it. And the thing is, okay, fair enough, it doesn't sound very powerful, but if you use that to before, say, in its escorts case, if you use that beam to soften someone's shields before you actually turn and face them, then lace them with the cannons, there's a good chance right, some of that cannon fire is getting through. Like, it may not be a lot of it, but with how powerful these cannons are and the effects they can have, for example, like this disruptor, these disruptor cannons I have from the Terrans, once their enemy's hull gets below 50%, it starts to increase damage. Yeah, because look, here you go, and I'll read the quote. Damage dealt increases as target hull decreases up to 200% damage at 25% hull. Exactly. So when you hit, and the worst thing about it is if I hit you and you're at 50%, you might as well say those cannons are working at 150%. So, and by the time you get to 25, they're at 200%. So, and think of it, all right? That cannon's getting worse, and you're still getting pounded by my other cannons at the same time. And they, oh, by the way, and that's not their maximum potential. Hang on, let me just just for the sake of video, because I'm going to wrap this up for a minute, because I want to keep this brief. And this is why I say captain skills come in handy, because and I'll do a little count. There you go. That's okay. That doesn't tell you, but that's a 1, 1, 1. That's 1, 0 more or less. You might as well say. But anyway, watch this. And if you do, where is it? Attack pattern alpha. Whoosh. There you go. That's gone up to 166, and that's gone up to 16 as well. And my quantums have jumped. My quantum torpedoes at the front at this precise moment in time do nearly 2,000 DPS, and the House of Martok torpedoes do nearly 1,000 DPS. But they can really screw with your ship systems. I like them because of the effects they have. Because it can drain the target shields. It's got almost like it can actually do armor penetration against exposed targets. So if you get hit by it and you're exposed, that's it. You'll probably blow your ship up, to be honest, because you're taking the full impact like you've got no resistance at all. You might as well be like level 1 and fresh out of the academy. That's how basic this will reduce you if it's exposed. And even though it's not at epic, it's not bad actually. It's only, was it ultra rare or rare? It's at very rare, so it can go up 2 levels. But it's worth 44k, and it does quite a lot of effects. There you go. It's at 44k, and it's worth okay. And these quantums are very rare as well. They do more damage, but they're virtually the same price. 44. It's cool. It's cool. But anyways, as I said, always try and keep all your stuff flowing in the same direction. With mine right now, this little build here, it's more about control more than anything else about this, because if you can see, it's all down to like control expertise, improve exotic damage, etc. So, you know what I mean? Do with it as you please. Do with it as you please. But anyway,